Hey everyone, welcome to Watch It, Paint It. In this video, we're going to be trying out reviewing Army Painter's new Speedpaint 2.0. Seen it a bit on the channel, certainly covered it a lot in the past few months. We're going to be going down to my friendly local game store and get some real life, in the field reviews from real gamers, real painters, different levels, to see what they actually think of the paint. If for some reason you've been living under a rock and don't know what Speedpaint is, it's a single coat application of paint that you slap all over your miniature, get it nice and thick, nice and wet, nice and juicy, and let that do all of the work for you. It pulls away from the raised parts of the miniature and pulls into the recesses and creates the shadows. That leaves a thinner application on the top, which gives it a highlight, a mid-tone as it pulls away into those recesses, and then dark shadows in the recesses. It gives it the full look of a complete miniature at the end of that. What is Speedpaint 2? Well, it's their new formula, the second iteration of this, which has tried to remove the reactivation property that they had in the past. It still reactivates for up to about 2 hours, but it's quite quick at drying, really. It's probably not going to give you that much time. So if you love the reactivation, you've still got that property a little bit in there, but once it's dry, fully locked in, it's hardened, that resin has cured, and it's basically unreactivatable unless you submerge it in water. On top of that, Speedpaint 2 offers a huge number of new colours. In the complete set, there'll now be 90. The one we're trying out today is 50 because we're waiting Army Painter for the full set of 90, which we've contributed to adding some of those colours to. Finally, why are we outside? Why are we on the way somewhere? Well, frankly, we at Watch It Paint It were part of the paint development team, and we don't think we could do you guys service by reviewing it ourselves. We obviously like it. We've helped develop it. The goal was to make this paint the best we could for you. So if we didn't like it, we'd failed. So the project should have been abandoned. We didn't abandon it. Here we are with the problem of we can't review it. So I'm going down to a friendly local game store in the city centre, and we're going to get some real painters, some real gamers to try this paint out and let you guys know what they feel about it. Anyway, guys, let's go and get on with the journey. So we've come down to Element Games today. I've been shopping at Element Games for absolutely years. This is where I buy all of my hobby related fun from, and I happily link you guys to in the descriptions of our videos. They're really, really well priced within the UK and have a huge amount of products and basically faultless customer service. So if you've got a problem or if you accidentally order things you shouldn't have, you can get in contact with them and they very easily and happily sort you out. I saw recently they'd opened up an Element Games Sheffield. It couldn't be much luckier for me, so I've popped down today, try out the space as well as, get their community to do all of this work for me. So after an entire day of painting, the first thing I actually want to comment on is if you've never tried painting at your local or any gaming store for that matter, go and take it for a spin. It's been so much fun and it's a different environment to what I'm used to painting quietly home alone by myself. Within a few minutes I felt part of their community, laughing and joking, and dare I even say it, joining in with banter. On top of that, you can get help from the customers that are around the community or eager and knowledgeable staff. All in all, absolute massive thumbs up to Element Games and their community. But anyway, guys, let's cut to the chase and let's see what everyone thought and had to say about the new Speedpaint range.
Hi, my name is Matt. I've been painting for about 4 years now, since 2019, around about then. I think I'm about an intermediate painter. I don't think I'm that great. Biggest achievement would be painting the whole Age of Darkness Forest Heresy 2.0 box set in about a month for a painting competition here at Element Games Sheffield, using basically just contrast paints, which hurt, but it looks good at the end. It kind of made me realise how good contrast paints can be, especially for large army painting projects. With these ones are a lot different. They dry quite quickly, but I quite like it because I'm quite a fast painter and I can keep on painting. I had no idea metallics could be feed paint, and these things, they are so satisfying to use. It's always really difficult getting the right sort of consistency with metallics, but they work perfectly every time. So that's probably the best experience I've had so far. There's some Citadel contrast paints where it's like a 10 out of 10, but a lot of them can be quite bad. But with these, there wasn't a single one where I used, I was like, this is useless. Tried as much as possible. And they're all consistent, I want to say like 8 out of 10 across the whole range, when I can justify it. I'm most likely going to end up picking up at least the 50 set, because I now want to repaint all my Astra Militarum. I love how they look now. I don't like my old team anymore. I'd recommend them to a lot of people because they're so convenient. It's just easy.
I'm Robin, I've been painting about a year. I'm pretty much a beginner and my greatest achievement is finishing a great and clean one. It took about a month and a half to paint. I usually use Games Workshop stuff, Citadel paints. I've used a couple of contrast paints from Citadel, but I suppose the colours were good. It's a decent range. Obviously there's some missing in what we got to play with today, but when you put it with the rest of the range, I think it'd be a good selection. Not having to put all the washes on and worry about highlights and things made it a lot easier. Yeah, they went on really nicely. Not having to worry about watering things down made it easier. I think as a beginner, I would probably prefer to start off learning to do it traditional style and then using this as extra. But if you're just trying to get stuff done quick and easily, then yeah, I think it would work quite well.
My name's Carl. I've been painting for about 16, 17 years. I'm about intermediate level. Biggest achievement I've had was Gold Demon 2020, finalist in vehicle category. Tested the paints today. They are absolutely fine. It takes longer for them to dry than I'm used to, but that is not to their detriment. At the end of the day, it means you can rework the paint as needed, take it away from areas that are pulled, bring it back in if you need to. Just be aware that it may peel slightly. I had that issue today with the reds. The other colours didn't seem to have the same issue though, which is fantastic. 50 colours today were absolutely fine. I can't say anything bad about them. It had a good range from deep to bright, bordering neon. I'd have liked to have seen some more of the metallics because I've heard there's 9 within the range. I've not seen what they are, and I would personally have liked to have seen a brass in there. Other than that, no complaints about the range and spectrum. The metallics I tried all 3. All have great coverage. The bronze, deep, good rich. The gold, nice, bright, vibrant. Same with the silver as well. I will more than likely be picking up the gold. If they do a brass, I will be looking into that, seeing what sort of coverage it's got. Maybe the purple, because royal purple colour, really deep, really vibrant. Sat in the recesses perfectly. The other negative to mention about it would be the pots themselves. There seemed to be clogs in the tops of some of them, which led to the group we were in today having issues making the paint come out and bursting off the top of the pots. It's an easy fix, it's just clean the top of the pot. If you can, take the lid off, get something in from the back and push out the blockage. And I'd recommend it as a toolbox for anybody who feels they are above beginner stage. I would suggest people at beginner stage paint using full paints and then dabble with the speed paints.
My heart's beating like mad. My name's Matt, painting on and off for about 4 years. Not novice, but that sort of level. Been doing it for a while, but I don't think it's particularly skilled. It's sort of like pleasure painting. From painting on and off for years and years using just Games Workshop paints. They're good, but God, they take forever compared to like the speed paints. I know that's the whole point of the paint. It's just slap it on, it goes all around the armor panels for you. Even like Space Marine panels are just quite curved. They're not like sharp lines like some of the other models are. It still works really well. The other thing I really liked, it was because I was using those Games Workshop paints, like Caliban Green, Cabalite Green over the top. There was no specific colour to the speed paints. So we just spent a while mixing them together. I thought it was the best part, because mixing them together, you can make whatever colour you want. I thought it was a really good feature. The fact that you can do that shows just how wide the range is. And I was surprised with the metallic stuff. They actually made speed paint metallics actually go on well, which I thought was a good part of it. Make the range just a lot better, not just limited to just the matte colours. I would recommend it for people like me, like struggle with painting this one model for like 8 hours and be forever on one model, and then you can just paint this up really quick. Or definitely with Slapshot as well. That's something that's been very in vogue now. But it really well with it, because it works with the white. It works really well with gradient. The paints are really neat.
My name's James. I've been in the hobby since 3rd edition Warhammer, since I was 11, now 32. So over 20 years. Didn't really take a break, just kind of kept on going. Do a bit of part-time commission work as well. As far as like what I'd class my painting as, Probably not Golden Demon level, but I'd like to say professional enough. It's been interesting today. I've not really done like speed paints or like contrast style painting before. Never really used it as an alternative to just traditional base wash highlight. I must admit I've had a good experience with it. As far as what I'd recommend it for, I think it'd be great for stuff like Tyrannids, anything organic, anything with like a lot of fabrics, with like a lot of creases and depth, because it makes the washes really help and it highlights it really well. I wouldn't probably recommend it for a lot of like flat surfaces like your big vehicles or like flat armour panels. It's still good, but maybe it's just me. I've not worked too much with it, so maybe it's my bad for not having enough control to stop it pooling and going a bit blotchy in places. As far as who I'd recommend it for, I think anyone really. For your newer players who are just getting into the hobby, I think it's like a great way to get stuff on the table to a good standard quick. As far as more experienced hobbyists like myself, it's just another tool in the box. It's not something I'm probably going to use religiously for everything, but it's something that I could definitely see myself using for certain projects. For example, if I got permission to do a massive army of Tyrannids, it'd make it so much quicker than just doing it the old-fashioned way. Base, wash, highlight, dry brush, even dry brushing. Strenuous. So I think for stuff like that, I definitely could see a use for it. As far as like downsides, it didn't really blend too well. I mean, on mine, I used a bit of just matte white to blend it in with colours to just highlight. So I put the lighter yellow over the dark, it kind of just mixed in. So as far as like what I think they should maybe add into the box would just be a white. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. It's been a fun day. Appreciate it.
And with that, we are done for the day, guys. That was about 12 hours of painting, chatting, and generally having a blast, as well as missing out on all of the sun for today. But heading home now, and I'm going to be feeding back to Army Painter themselves that was a fantastic little idea. I think they should be doing that in the future, getting different people to test out the paint range and getting feedback from all sorts of different painters before they release a product. Finally, just let us know what you thought in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Did you enjoy this style of review? It certainly took a lot more effort than normal, but I enjoyed myself. I got out of the house, can't complain about that. But speaking of house, let's get home for a pint. See ya.